And forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
Praise the Most High God. With your whole heart and mind. Lift him high, lift him high. Holy, 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 holy. Holy Mount Zion. The Lord's my shepherd, I'm not want. Take me down to lie in pastures green, that leadeth me the quiet spot. My soul hath restored and me to walk of stay within the path of righteousness, even for his name's sake. Yeah, no, I walk in this dark place, it will I fear no ill. Thy rod and staff, they are with me, they surely comfort me. Oh, my Lord has furnished in the presence of my foes. My head no anoint with oil, my cup it overflow. Goodness and mercy all my life shall surely follow me. In just cause forevermore, my dwelling place must be. Goodness and mercy all my life shall surely follow me. And in the house forevermore, my dwelling place shall be. All right, folks, that is where Joshua, and myself, we want to say a special greetings and welcome to all of you locked into Q at this time. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I know by now, if you're a constant listener to Q, especially to the United Progressive Party's program each and every Saturday from 7 o'clock. Once you hear this one from Mr. Buju, Buju Banton, that is, then yes, we are in the house. Just invoking the Almighty's presence to take full and total control. That is very critical, huh? Acknowledging him, yes, the big Lord above. So yes, that is how we want to start your program tonight for yet another Saturday. Tonight being the 28th night of March 2026. Basically, March has come and gone. A few more days and it will be no more on the calendar. But yes, we are here, the folks from the United Progressive Party program, and we're here ready to go. The indomitable Mr. Joshua Francis, he's already taken his seat. And you'll be hearing from him in just a bit. So as I normally say, tell Paul to tell all, tell Lou to tell soon. that yes, that program is on, and each and every one of you out there can partake and participate thereof. Tonight, just about at the bottom of the hour, that is 7:30 thereabout, we're going to try to engage via the stream. A brother, a lawyer, the nephew of former Prime Minister Lester Bird in Antigua and Barbuda will be talking to us right here. Basically giving us an update, as it were, as to Antigua and Barbuda. They are now in election mode. The Prime Minister, Mr. Gaston Brown, has hinted that and basically put the people of Antigua in that mode as we speak. And so we'll be getting an update from this brother. So please keep it locked to the sport that you got. Folks, the numbers to call into the program, they're 449-3095, 449-3096, 3097. The digiline 616-4257. Those of you overseas and want to contribute, your number 305-432-9624. Again, let me repeat before I ask Joshua for his opening remarks. Just in case you want to call in sometime later, the numbers are 449-3095, 3096, 3097. 616-4257 can get you in as well. And finally, 305-432-9624. That is the order designated line, especially for those of you out of Dominica. All right, folks, yes, we're here and we're ready to go, as I said. Much food for thought in terms of the information coming your way very, very soon. To all the party members, good evening to you. I know you guys are locked. Please keep the candle, please keep the fire burning, as it were, as we do what we do to help rescue and salvage what is left of this country called Dominica. Mr. Joshua Francis, good evening to you, my brother, in a very special way.
Yeah, good evening, Lofty, and good evening to Dominica. Always a pleasure to be here. We're giving thanks and praises yet for another day, another evening, another opportunity to work for and on behalf of the people of Dominica, Lofty.
Indeed.
I see you have your UPP shirt, United Progressive Party.
Well, Josh, yes, I am wearing this shirt tonight. I don't wear things that I don't believe in.
Well, I'm happy that you believe in what you do, Lofty. Other than that, you would be like a leaf in the air, just been blown to and fro without a destination. But with the United Progressive Party, we do have a destination, which is a change of government and to bring betterment to the people of Dominica. Lofty, another day the Lord has made. I'm sure another productive day for you, another hustle, another busy day, another engaging day. And yes,
very, very busy day, Josh. Got up this morning about what time? 5 o'clock thereabout, and I've been on my feet since. Number of different areas of projects, but it is what it is. That is the hustle we have to do in Dominica to stay afloat, as it were.
Oh yeah, Lofty. I mean, I just came from the Kalinago territory, and on my way down, I'm like, sometimes people say, "Oh, the guys in the opposition, they don't do enough," not realizing the kind of sacrifices we make. Because this can be very draining. You, as you say, you wake early in the morning, you have your personal business to take care of, then you have business matters to take care of. And you have to take care of the business of the nation, which involves going on the ground and talking to people, listening to their concerns, and in some cases, actually trying to cure their issues. And that is time consuming and also financially consuming. But we are not complaining. We understand what we're involved in. We understand that leadership is sacrifice. As a good book says, the greatest gift that we can give our brothers and sisters is to lay our lives for them. And that's what we are doing, literally. We have laid our lives, for the people of Dominica. And we are doing it with with a lot of patience. After all, it's quite a number of years since we have not seen the land of glory. We have not been in the promised land, but we are near. We are nearing.
I keep telling people, Josh, we are
Yeah.
nearer to that political promised land than where we were 25 years ago.
Yes, certainly.
yeah.
We have to.
Indeed.
Well, Lofty, tonight, you mentioned that you're going to be speaking to an attorney from Antigua.
We're going to be speaking
yes,
to this brother.
Yeah, we're going to be speaking to a brother from Antigua and a colleague and an attorney at law. And of course, we did tell our listeners that we speak about health today,
Yes.
So hopefully we will get some time to look at the health situation in Dominica. But let us welcome our listeners. We have persons who look forward to Talk for Progress every Saturday. We want to thank you for being there. And we also want to ask of you to call your friends and family to tell them to join, whether it's on a social media platform or on Q95, the big station. We're happy that you're listening. Wherever you are, whether you're at work, working at the hospital, the fire station, the police stations, wherever you are, we are grateful that you're part of this, that you're making your contribution through your listenership. And we are encouraging you to call in and weigh in on the different subjects that we'll be dealing with this evening.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you indeed for your opening remarks here. That is why we continue to stand, because of the poor people out there.
Yeah.
So that song is specially dedicated to all of you who are going through some trial, some sort of tribulation in one way, shape, or form, be it economical or otherwise. We at UPP ask you to keep hope alive, huh? Keep hope alive. Things will get better. You got to speak that into being, huh? To the struggling vendors out there, the struggling businesses out there, the struggling mother, the struggling family, or families rather. We got to find a solution together. Gotta find a solution to this pollution. Only the poor man, yeah. The poor man, poor. The poor man, no. Only me, yeah. Someone is writing here, Lofty, please run the track from the top, just for my listening pleasure. And the person says, no name, no warrant. Just for your listening pleasure out there, your wish is my command. Got to find a solution to this pollution. Got to find a solution to this pollution. Yeah. Got to find a solution to this pollution. Gotta find a solution to this pollution. So, folks, if you're tuning in at this time, welcome on board. Those of you on the live feed, special greetings and welcome to all of you there as well. Marina, Mackenzie, and folks. Talking about Mackenzie, good evening to you, Severin Mackenzie. To you and your family out there. We at the United Progressive Party, we extend sympathy to you and the family on the passing of your nephew, that is. I think he was laid to rest on Friday, I believe. Josh, you'd want to...
Yeah, of course. Lofty, we express our sincerest condolences to the Mackenzie family and to all families who would have lost a loved one. And of course, we reach out to the families who are suffering resulting from an ill member, whether the person is at the hospital or the person is ailing and being cared for at home.
Sure.
Lofty, we also have to remember those. It's always sad to see a loved one's departure. A loved one, when he or she is gone, never returns. And I think that's the saddest thing about death, that we have this hope that one day we'll reconcile with that loved one. Nobody has not returned from the dead to tell us, yes, I met grandpa, you know. But when the person is gone, the person is gone. And the home no longer remembers him, and the sun continues to rise and continues to set. You know, and that's the reality about life. You know, love today has a saying that when one departs, the loved ones will miss him or her, you know, for the first week, second week, and then, you know, that person is almost forgotten. And that's just reality. So we are reaching out to the persons who have suffered a loss and persons who have loved ones at the hospital and expecting the departure of his or her loved one. You know, but we live in a land and we live in a world of hope. You know, those of us who are here, we are looking towards better days, and we're grateful for life and good health.
True.
You know,
Yep. Josh, I normally say we are sojourner just passing through, huh?
yeah, we're
We're
on a
all
journey,
we are
man.
all in that line. Some
Yeah.
are just ahead of the line.
Yeah,
The others are the back.
you know, there's a priest who always have this sermon. You know, whenever he presides over funeral services, he says that no one knows the hour, and that's one appointment that you cannot change.
True.
You can call to cancel it. You can't adjourn it. You can't, you know, you can't amend it. That appointed date, when it is called, it gotta go. It gotta happen.
You gotta go. You gotta go.
Yeah.
All right, folks, that is it. Yes, we are here. It's expressing some sympathy, expressing some empathy to all of you out there. That is part of life. Everything cannot be political or partisan in nature. There has to be the humanitarian side of life as well. And that is what we at UPP always seek to try to do each and every program, at least from the preamble. So now that we have gotten these things out of the way, as it were, we are standing by to speak to none other than Brother Bird III from Antigua and Barbuda, as he's dubbed to bring us an update as to the happenings on the ground in Antigua and Barbuda. Read Mr. Gaston Brown's latest pronouncement. Stay tuned for that. But Josh, anything that we want to start with before we engage Brother Bird?
Yeah, well, we like to report from the ground as to what's happening in our communities. I don't know where you visited this week, Lofty, but you know, I visited the Kalinago territory twice this week. You know, and you know, the Kalinagos are just awesome people. You know, very kind. Today I went there. I came back with bananas and pumpkins and coconuts. You know, so sometimes when you go out, you always give, but there are times you also receive.
Yes.
And we in the UPP family, we take pleasure to give.
And sometimes if you don't receive, although you really want to receive, but some of these people take it very, very serious. Josh, you ain't taking that. I prepared that for you. Take it. Yeah. So if you don't want to make them feel bad, you just have to take it.
Well,
But,
certainly,
yeah.
certainly. And the thing about it is, I think the most important thing that we get on the ground is people's love. When we walk into a home and you feel welcomed and the people want to share their humble meal with you, they speak with you, they trust you with their personal issues. I mean, that is wonderful. That is immeasurable. When someone gives you love, you really cannot quantify that, you know, and that's one of the greatest joy I get when I go on the ground, to meet families and to be able to communicate with them and to hear them out, and better yet, when I'm able to assist. But there are so many families in need of assistance in one way or the other. You know, income poor families, persons who are struggling to pay their bills, struggling to meet their financial obligations, struggling to send their children to school. Today, somebody sent me a message seeking financial assistance for a medical procedure. And it's very sad when people are in certain predicaments that they cannot satisfy financially because they don't have the means. But Lofty, we continue to go on the ground. We continue to share hope. We continue to spread the news that United Progressive Party is here to add value to the opposition team. And our objective is not just to cause a change of government, but more importantly, to contribute towards a betterment of life for each and every one of us in Dominica, because it would not make sense for a government to change. And at the end of the day, people's lives either stay stagnant or suffer regressions. We are bringing value to the table. We hope to see a better Dominica, a Dominica where families can be dignified, uh, a Dominica where people are hopeful and living with pride and joy and happiness. You know, we have too many broken families and too many broken individuals resulting from some kind of struggle. You know, and Dominica is one of the better places in the world, Lofty. I always say that. We have our financial issues, but we are relatively peaceful. You know, we can still go into a river and have a bath and go on the beach and, you know, have a sea bath. You know, it's a beautiful thing, right, Lofty?
Very well, very well. So
Yeah.
at least some of the things that we don't appreciate enough in Dominica, some of the natural stuff that was given to us by the Creator.
Yeah, definitely.
Some of us just take it for granted.
Oh, I mean, yeah, if
One,
even our government.
and unless these things are gone or diminished, and we now tend to lose them, or we tend to miss them when we
Mhm,
lose them,
mhm.
you know. So there are lots of things in Dominica, George, that we can give thanks and praise for.
Oh,
And trust
yes.
me, a
Oh,
lot of
yes.
things as well we need to,
Oh, yes.
put in perspective as
Oh,
to
yeah.
our betterment.
Definitely. Hence the
Yeah.
reason why we have the situation at Dubash.
Mhm.
And we cannot not send out solidarity to our brothers and sisters who continue to stand at the site in Dubash to resist the government from mining or quarrying in the area, more so without planning approval. So let's big up Nazio Fountain, you know, IP, Margo, you know, the Brisbanes, you know, all the Kalinagos who continue to show up every Saturday for the past month. You know, we stand with you. You know, United Progressive Party stands with you in standing for protection of our environment. I don't know when last you went up there, Lofty, but I did pass at Dubash today, and the numbers continue to increase. You know, from last Saturday, there has been an inflation in the numbers. And hopefully, next Saturday, the numbers will even be greater. And we want our listeners to appreciate the purpose for the stance that Nasio and others have taken. You know, the same thing we are talking about. You know, we're enjoying the rivers because our ancestors protected the rivers for us. And so too, it's a responsibility to protect the rivers and the forest and the ecosystems, you know, for our children and our grandchildren. So we in the United Progressive Party family, we are proud as Dominicans to stand for Dominica. You know, after all, this is the nature island of the Caribbean, the nature island of the world. You know, and we have to do more. We have to protect our environment. So on that note, let me just reach out to the people of Antrizil, the people of Concord, the people of Atkinson and the Kalinago territory, you know, Sineku, Mara River, Golet River, Sensi, Salibia Point, Crayfish River, Bataka. We hope that you're having a good evening. And every community in Dominica, from Scottsett down to Capuchin, you know, from St. Joseph to La Plaine, we hope that you're having a good one. Lofty, I don't know whether you
As
spent some time out of Ruzo over the week and you want to comment on the people who you
well, I'm
engaged.
always on the ground, Josh. I'm always on the ground. My work itself takes me on the ground. I meet with a number of different people, and I hear their plight on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Try to offer some hope. Try to offer assistance where I can, if I can. That is just part of my life in general,
Yeah.
you know. So this week I visited the community of St. Joseph, whereby an elderly man, up in age, was really recounting and retelling to me some of the things that were back then
Hmm.
that he has just seen basically evaporated.
Yeah.
And one of the things that he laments is the fact that people are not, Dominicans are not, how he put it, Dominicans are not together
Mhm.
as a unit anymore. He said certain things that are happening now could never happen in his time in the 60s. Never.
Mhm.
And we had a nice conversation. So, my brother in the St. Joseph area, good evening to you in a very, very special way. As we're speaking about Debo and Josh and the other people that I meet, as we're speaking about Debo, someone who is regularly at the
citing Debois, sent us rather, at least 7 factual situations that I just want to read out there now for the public consumption. It says here, fact 1. At the public meeting, the operators admitted there are no permits, no ESIA, and no management plans for this project. That's fact number 1. Fact number 2, the person writes here, downstream communities were never informed about the start of works. No notices, no consultations, no transparency. Fact number 3, this mine or inside our protected lands, putting the Cicero Parrot, one of Dominica's cleanest watersheds, and an entire indigenous community directly at risk, sacrificing long-term national security for short-term extraction. Fact number 4, heavy machinery has already caused severe sedimentation, degrading water quality, killing oxygen levels, and harming wildlife and people. Fact number 5, we continue here. There is already deforestation, soil removal, collapsing slopes, and displaced wildlife, despite no approved ESIA exits to access or manage these impacts. Fact number 6, noise, dust, and blasting threaten nearby families and a primary school with no mitigation measures in place. Fact number 7, under the Escazú Agreement, communities have the right to information, participation, and justice, none of which have been upheld. And it ends by saying Dominica deserves truth, safety, and accountability, not hidden decisions or unregulated mining in one of our most critical watersheds. Again, let me just repeat that last paragraph. Dominica deserves truth, safety, and accountability, not hidden decisions or unregulated mining in one of our most critical watersheds. Let me thank the person who continued to stand that sent us that information in terms of 7 facts so far as it relates to the ongoing Debois saga, I call it.
Yeah.
All right.
Well written.
Yeah, let me see if we can pull in our guest here in just a bit. Let's just do this and we'll be right back in just a bit. Let's do this from our brother here with this one.
Now we're calling on the African National Council. We're calling on the Southwest African People's Organization. Now!
The man, Nasir Fontaine, calls this one freedom. Let's take a line or two from our own, and then we're going to engage our guest, who is already here, standing by, Brother Viebre de Food, Antigua, and Barbuda.
On the victorious freedom, see my people crying for freedom. Freedom. And the children weep, freedom. And red blood run quick. Freedom. See my people crying for freedom. 400 years now we've been working as your slave. Why can't you free us? Let us have a separate ways. Equal rights and justice wasn't made for just one man. Even our freedom, cause we need a liberation. Hey. Freedom of expression, freedom of speech, written in the Human Rights of Declaration. So, and the children we and red blood run quick.
Yes, folks, if you're tuning in at this time, you're listening to the program in Dominica
sponsored by the United Progressive Party. Just having some casual conversations as we're going along here. And about in just a bit to engage our brother from Antigua and Barbuda, lawyer by profession, a very informed man, I must say, having engaged him before. A very forthright gentleman. He speaks his mind in spite of, yes, the repercussions. A very solid son of the soil. So let me see if I can engage his brother at this time. Brother Vierbird, good evening to you in a very special way, brother. Welcome to Q95. Welcome to Dominica. Welcome to the United Progressive Party's program this Saturday.
Hi, good night, everybody. Good night, Dominica. How are you doing? Love this.
I'm doing very well, very well. How are you guys doing? How are
Well,
you doing?
me, I'm doing well. Politically, I think Antigua is at a crossroads. I think we are in a very sad circumstances where after the election of 2023, which is just 3 years ago.
Okay.
I mean, they've called a snap election now. We're just 3 years. January 18th made 3 years. So it's basically 3 years and just over 2 months that you're going back to the polls in a general election. They had a by-election about 2 weeks ago, give or take, in St. Philip's North. Antigua and Barbuda has 17 constituencies. 16 Antigua, one in Barbuda. And a constituency called St. Philip's North. The longest serving MP, probably in the whole Caribbean ever, Robin Yearwood, has just resigned.
I remember him, yes.
Yes, he was with my father and my uncle, Lester Bird, and my father, Bear Bird Jr., when they ran and won in 1976.
Talking about that, Bird. Let's just backtrack a bit. Just give the listener and viewing public an idea who you are, so that they can, warm up to the man talking to us from Antigua and Barbuda. And we're also here with the leader of the United Progressive Party, that is Mr. Joshua Francis as well.
Hi, good evening.
Okay, good night, Mr. Francis. How are you doing, sir?
I am doing well. And how are you doing?
Not bad, sir. Not bad at all. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, same here.
I am the son of Bear Bird Jr.
I'm sandwiched between two lawyers tonight.
Yes, I hear you.
He's well protected.
You're lawyered up tonight.
I know. Yeah, but go right on, brother, in terms of the brief intro.
Jr., who is the son of Papa Bird, V.C. Bird Sr. I'm born in Antigua, born in 1971. I have a degree in government and politics from St. John's University, Queen's Campus, 1993. And I went to read law in the United Kingdom, became a barrister at law in 2000. I returned home in 2002. I have run in politics on 2 occasions in a third party, the True Labour Party. Lost my deposit on 2 occasions, and we'll see how it goes if there will be a third. I'm very honest and forthright.
That's it. That's why I love you, brother, in terms of your forthrightness.
Yes. As I was saying, the representative for the constituency of St. Philip's North, Mr. Robin Yearwood, retired just about 3 weeks ago. So they had a by-election in his constituency. Mr. Robin Yearwood has been serving continuously without a break since 1976. 50 years, and then he packed it in.
Wow. Okay.
So he has a record. I think they'll be put him in the Guinness Book of World Record at some point in time. You have to take it in mind that the person that took him over was somebody who came from the constituency also, and is a Freemason. He had his back in, I guess, money-wise and everything. They set up there was like Christmas. It was better than Christmas in March in St. Philip's North. The amount of fridge, stove, bicycle, microwave, computers, everything was going around up in that constituency just 3 weeks ago. So the by-election went down. The guy, Randy Baltimore is his name, has become the representative. And what happened is that Alec Brown, who was the United Progressive Party candidate for the general election 3 years ago, had a very good run. He gave Robin Yearwood a challenge, which he's not accustomed to. So the UPP were going up there feeling that Mr. Alec Brown would have done well. He did not. It is not a general election, it is a by-election. They are the Mr. Yearwood is in an incumbency. They had won the election. So I guess the people are of the opinion, well, the opposition couldn't do anything for them. They were nowhere close to winning an election. So it's like 2-1 beating, probably a little better than 2-1, a little worse than 2-1. And because of the strong election vibes or the trouncing Mr. Brown got, they decided to call a snap election. So we just heard about the election is going to be called last week, Saturday. So it's just 1 week now. We heard that Parliament is going to dissolve on the 1st, I think it is.
The 1st of April.
And they are having 1st of April. And by the 7th, they're supposed to be having their big party launch. And anytime after that, the Prime Minister will call the date of the elections, which we suppose will definitely be, we have 90 days, but I believe it will be before the end of April. Due to the fact that our circumstances probably similar to yours, that tourism season lasts from November to April. After that, people have to go and look work in other fields and areas. So you usually catch them on the upswing when they still have work than to go and send them into a ballot without work, to go and vote without work. So we believe it is going to be at some point in time before next month is out.
Wow.
Yeah, but if the Constitution of
Yeah.
Antigua,
Simple and plain like that.
all right, you think it's going to be in April and not May or June? At least 30
No,
days.
as I said, no,
From the
90 days,
dissolution
90
of the
days they
House.
have, 90 days.
90 days.
But traditionally we don't do it like that in Antigua. Our elections are from January to March, because after that the tourist season goes down. Our tourist season is from November to April. After that, people are looking work in other fields. Remember, we only have a 6 months tourist season, you know. After 6 months, people go look working wherever they can find it. So people are broke. People are looking work. You don't send them into to vote when they don't have work. So
Yeah.
it will be April. It will be April. The last person that went down to June was Baldwin Spencer. That's the last time the UPP ran, and they were the incumbents in 2014. They had boundary changes, and the Prime Minister kept pushing off the elections. He went from March to April to May to June.
Mhm.
And after that election, there's only three of them from the incumbent side who were elected, Mr. Spence himself and two others. And that was the end of that. They haven't been able to catch themselves since. So, yeah, we don't go down that path. Prime Minister won't risk it himself. I do
Okay.
believe there are other external factors why he called the election so early. Because Mr. Brown, the Prime Minister, he has had 3 terms, but he's only 12 years out of the 3 terms. Then a term is 5 years. So he is cut out every year. Every time he calls election, it's always short of the 5 terms. He's never carried it to his full term. So out of what he should have had 15 years, it's only been 12 so far.
Wow. But Brother Bird, give us an idea, give us the mood of the people on the ground as it relates to the pending announcement by Mr. Brown re the dissolution of the House.
People are not ready for it. We're not thinking about the election. I think this is the widest gap of calling an early election that he has done. It has been like a year or 6 months, 2 whole years from an election. So I don't think people are really psyched up for it. I believe that the poor performance of the United Progressive Party since the last election, where they only lost by 6 votes. They should have been in office. 6 votes they lost, and they could have attained office, you know. They could have formed a government if they had got 6 votes.
6 votes, you said.
And since 6 votes, the leader of the opposition, the Harold Lovell, lost by 6 votes.
Yes, I remember that closely contested election, yes.
And the circumstance from that The UPP never caught themselves. They never built any strength then. They just fell apart. Mr. Lovell went and resigned soon after. And I believe that has been the problem with that organization. Mr. Lovell ought to have waited and had until there's a convention, and don't rush the party that just got defeated by such a small margin. You try not to upset the upper cart, because that is a winning team.
So what was the
That is a winning
reasoning
team.
behind his resignation? What is on the table?
Um, on somebody on the outside looking in, I've worked with Mr. Lovell as in an opposition party. We work with along them on some issues and so on. And I've always been surprised with Mr. Lovell. I've heard the most negative things I've heard about Harold Lovell has been from the UPP. Mr. Lovell comes from a former party which was Islam. They were supposedly communists in his youth days with Tim Hector and so on. And I don't know what it is, but the UPP is an amalgamation of three other political parties that came together to fight the ALP. And I don't know, but there's a negativity around him that it doesn't come from the Labour Party. It comes from his own party members. I used to always ask them why. They come up with all the silliest excuses, nothing really convincing. But
So
that is one thing I've noticed with him.
what are some of those? What are some of those?
They
Just
felt that he was not prime minister material. They
uh-huh.
felt that Harold Lovell was not able to be accepted by the electorate.
Okay.
That he didn't have what it took to become the leader of Antigua and Barbuda. They felt that he was the minister of finance on the last UPP administration, and that
Mhm.
he had done such a poor job. Mr. Lovell had when the UPP were in office, they decided to hold a fete called Romantic Rhythms, which Mr. Lovell had. And it did not go very well because a lot of the tickets went unsold. They were just giving away tickets, and the finance, the accounting of the finance were not very well done. Now, I blame Mr. Lovell for that too, because at the end of the day, he's a lawyer. He's not a impresario or somebody who pulls off fets. I don't know why he would put his neck out there. It's not because you're a minister of government that you can do everything because you got elected to people. No, there's
Mm.
some things you need to know that I don't have the backing for this.
True.
I don't know how to run a fet or how to pull off a fet. So you'll
Mhm.
never find me in them sort of situations.
So
But
it's
he
like you have
chose
to
to move
you have
forward,
to
and
stay
his name got stuck with this.
it's like you have to stay in your lane, as it were.
Stay in your lane. What you're good at, stick with that. And that is the rule of thumb I think that politicians need to remember.
Mhm.
And that has always bothered him. There's all been talking about um, romantic rhythms, or even from his own party members. But yeah, people remember Harold Lovell for the UPP's ineptitude in managing the country's finances. And I think that also overall hampered him. But getting back to after the election of 2023, which was the 18th of January 2023, Mr. Lovell immediately resigned. And there were what, 6 or 7 seats. It wasn't very. It was seven seats, I think it was. They had. There were seven that the UPP won. There was Barbuda, which is a BPM, a different party, had 8, and then the Labour Party had 9. And Mr. Lovell immediately resigned. I guess all of that kind of played on his decision, because it was the third time that he'd run and lost at an election. This is the first time as a leader, though. And Mr. Pringle, who is the present leader of the UPP, he kind of filled the void up to the point in time they had a convention, but they waited so long to have the convention. Mr. Lovell wasn't there. So I don't think they had proper guidance on how to move forward. So the party for 2020, after that general election, they had a by-election in 2023 where one of their incumbents won the seat again. And then 2024, they had a convention and all hell broke loose. The many people felt that Mr. Pringle, who basically there was a vacuum in the party from what I saw. Mr. Pringle, who was the longest serving in the UPP as a representative for a constituency, he filled the vacuum, and he was able to win to become the leader. Those who had won their seats and those who didn't felt he was not the best choice. So it kind of split the party. Everybody, a good amount of people left that organization. Several
So I'm
of their candidates, even one of the guys defected to the Labour Party. A guy by the name of Anthony Smith, who claimed that he was now independent, who is now running on the Labour Party ticket in the same constituency, is with Gaston wearing a red shirt, a red tie now. So
yeah.
where they were, it was a close race, and it could have anybody who fell sick couldn't continue to work. It could have been a switch of governments. The government could have changed. But then what hampered the UPP also? Mr. Smith left. I remember Asset Michael also died or got murdered last year.
Yes.
So Mr. Brown was able to replace him with one of his loyal stalwarts or whatever. So it didn't get much better for the UPP. But since the present leader has been in charge of the UPP, they haven't been doing anything. They haven't. It's one of the poorest oppositions I have ever seen. No, not the worst opposition I've ever seen. They do absolutely nothing. They may get on the radio station and talk a couple of times, but in regards to protest, in regards in holding the government accountable to anything, yes, they'll go to parliament and say a few words and huff and puff. But after that, they're pretty dormant. We are of the opinion, I am of the opinion that some of them are on the take. They're working with Gaston Brown. I believe that a lot of the executive of the UPP are of the opinion that they can live well in opposition and eventually take over the government at some point in time. What has also been said is that a lot of the executive members of the party have moved on, whether through death or a lot of them have resigned and ended up in the ALP now. I can't listen. The list of people who have left the UPP is like a death announcement. It's too numerous to mention. You know, they
I
have family
I,
members and the death
remember
announcement you say too numerous to mention.
I remember quite vividly that there was this sort of just landslide in terms of persons defecting from the UPP
I've never seen a party that came so close
soon
to
after that
winning
close.
an election fall
Yes.
apart. Sean Bird, my cousin, he left and he's back with the Labour Party. Dr. Edmund Mansour, who was one of their stalwarts, so even when they were in opposition before 2004, he has gone back.
Is
Dr.
is
Fillmore Benchman, who is a
is,
stalwart of the UPP, he's left and is running on the Labour Party ticket. Up to just this week, people have been stalwart members have been leaving,
is
and
Mr. is
it
Mr.
never.
Watt still on board? Is Mr. Watt still on board? Alganan Suprant, is he still on board?
No, Mr. Watt is no longer running in politics. He's resigned his seat. It's now an individual named Kelton Dalso is running in this constituency of
Okay.
St. George.
Wow.
So he is left
Well,
also.
okay.
Listen, I'm telling you, it's so much I can't even tell you off the top of my head. I can't remember how much. It's just so much. If it was one or two, you'll remember them. But the
Yeah.
amount of people is just amazing how the party. And the worst part, even when they saw people leaving, it must have been for some reason. They never addressed the issue. And even if you're saying, oh, he's not capable of being the leader, he never put himself out to exhibit his leadership credentials or abilities. One of the failings of Mr. Pringle, he should have gone to every branch in the United Progressive Party, sit down with them as the new leader and tell them the way forward after that bleeding that went on. He's never done it. And this is where we are today. I do predict that the Labour Party will win maybe all the seats or maybe one or two. One or two they won't win. They won't. Mr. Pringle will be fine in All Saints East and St. Luke. That is the strongest seat in the United Progressive Party. It is possible that his challenger, Richard Lewis in Grace Farm, where Ball and Spencer used to be the representative, he may also win, but it's still iffy for him. And I
Okay.
cannot tell you of any other strong seat which I'd put my neck on the line for.
All right. Josh.
Wow, very interesting. So a lot of internal rumblings and division
Yes,
have
it
contributed
really
towards the
it
demise of the
really
party.
hampered that party in the last 3 years. Really, I've never seen anything like that. Just from such a strong showing to absolute. And then Mr. Lovell, then, after about 2.5 years of the politics, he was away in Canada teaching as a professor. He then came back and said he wants to run again. And he's now running a different constituency from where he was before.
Okay.
And he's running up in All Saints West, where the individual who was running with them, Anthony Smith, who defected and became an independent but now running for the Labour Party, he's going to challenge him.
Okay.
Mr. Lovelace in his 70s now and has lost the last 3 elections. I don't know where he's going, but we will see how strong he is. We'll see how strong he is come
We'll
We'll
see.
see.
come
We'll
next
see.
month.
Yeah,
We'll
but
see.
just a quick question. What are the main issues for Antigans in this general election?
There's so many shortcomings. You see, 3 years into this term has been the probably the poorest performance of the ALP. We have some of the worst roads in the OECS in Antigua. We have problems with water, even though they have what 7 to 8 to 9, 10 desalination plants. People don't get water on a daily or weekly basis in most parts of the country. When they formed the government 2023, the parliamentarians gave themselves a raise, and they immediately announced that Social Security was going to increase in contributions that you had to make. And then they carried up the age of retirement, right? Then the roads were so bad, sometime last year, they increased the amounts on the licensing fee for your vehicle by 40%. So basically, half. They increased it by half. You understand? There's also the issue that you know about Loftus, the Alpha Nero, where they
Yes.
went and sold the Russian oligarch's boat. And
Mhm.
that is still not resolved. They sold a boat that is worth 120 million for 40 million. The individual sued them in several courts all over the world. Mr. Brown, who likes to claim that he's the richest parliamentarian ever, when he came into parliament, he had $30 million and he must have been tripled by now to 100 million. As soon as you see, there's a problem, money is relative. You may think you're rich with 30 million EC dollars, but Yulia Garivovich or Garinovich or whatever her name is, whose father's boat he picked up,
Mhm.
Mr. Gary Merchant, is worth 30 billion US dollars. You understand? So he thought he could push her around, but when they have the access to real money, they have more money than the whole OECS put together, right? You should leave people like this alone. You don't choose fights with people in them sort of pockets. So they have him in a kind of court in New York, in Florida, in Dubai, in Russia, and some other jurisdiction. And they're fighting a very good battle to get back their votes. And not to go off from the by election, but it's interesting to realize that the boat was worth 120 million US dollars. But the valuable pictures and masterpieces that she had on the boat were worth more than the boat.
Wow.
And nobody knows where the masterpieces are. Somebody has them. They sold the boat, but you didn't sell the boat for $40 million with the items on it, did you?
Mhm.
Because those items are priceless. So
So
when they sued Mr. Brown privately. They sued him, his wife, and the what do you call it again? The permanent secretary of finance and several other individuals, the port authority guy, Darren Telemack.
mhm.
And when they sued him, the 30 million EC multi-millionaire Mr. Brown, they sued him personally, not the government of Antigua. When they sued him and wife, the 30 million didn't open up his wallet. He went straight to the government treasury to tell the treasury to pay for his personal lawsuit. So these issues are there.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I don't think Antiguan people are thinking clearly of the damage that Mr. Brown has done to Antigua and Barbuda or his poor performance. Because the UPP as an opposition has been so weak in the 3 years that people are just looking for a lifeline now and they're frustrated and they just said they throw up their hands and they most likely will either sit out the elections, which will make Mr. Brown get back into office, or go and vote. because of the what is coming their way, the amount of money and treating that they're going to do.
Also to this other party, the DNA, I believe I read somewhere that they are staying out as well, which will
Yeah,
come.
they were never a factor. They were designed really to hamper the UPP chances of being elected. It was a former representative in the UPP, Joanne Messiah. She had a
Messiah.
falling out when they had a, a, um, a leadership contest before this one in the UPP, and she felt that she was robbed, and she did not contest in the election any further because she said she didn't get the lists or something of all the electors. And she went and formed the DNA more out of spite to me. I don't think they really ever intended to have a long lasting organization. They're more putting people into the constituencies that were close so that the Labour Party could have had a better chance of winning. I don't think her services are really needed any longer because the goalpost is so wide now because of the UPP's poor performance in the last 3 years.
So what do you see? What do you see, Mr. Bird, in terms of a fix, a political fix for the removal, as it were, of the Antigua Labour Party, even if it's not this
Right
time
now,
around, but future speaking.
future speaking, the quicker that election comes is the better because they need to two things. Either get new leadership for the UPP or the UPP disbands because the brand of four electoral defeats, the brand is not there with the electorate to be a success in the future. I personally
Mhm.
do not believe that the UPP can recover after this defeat. I mean,
Okay.
some of the candidates, the prime minister said just the other day he's going to show them mercy and give them an extra week because they didn't even have candidates for some of the constituencies.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was. Some of the people, Malika Parker, Kelton Dalso was just a primary in January of this year, and it's only it's so. Kelton Dalso come from St. George, which is the demographic where it has the largest population in Antigua, right? Not the largest territory-wise size, but the largest amounts of people. And they had an incumbent representative who is not running again. That's Serpent Agnawat in St. George. He's not
Mm.
running again. So when they had their primary, Mr. Dalso only got 16 votes. And that was enough to carry him through. Only 16 people, about 20 people showed up. You
Yeah.
understand? From the incumbent branch of the UPP. An incumbent, they won. They are carrying that. They should be able to carry that
Well,
constituency. Very few
yeah.
people showed up to vote.
Mhm. Well, it seems
So
as if
it is.
it's somewhat. Yeah. Go
What's
ahead.
that?
It seems
Yeah,
as
and
if
then
it's somewhat of a
Malika
free
Parker,
election.
she got called as a lawyer, but I think she came back in November, and in December she's going to run for the first time as a candidate in rural North, but she doesn't come from the constituency. She doesn't have any grassroots in the constituency, so she's going up there from December to campaign for the first time, and going to go and vote on her in April. I mean, nobody knows you. Nobody
Yeah.
knows you. It's not to
So
say
I.
even Dalso, I give Dalso a benefit of the doubt. 'Cause when Dalso ran with the True Labour Party, my organization in 2014, he ran in St. George. When he ran with the DNA in 2018, he ran in the constituency of St. George. Now he's running with the UPP in say this election. He's running in St. John, so these people know him, whether they like him or not, they would vote for him. At least that was an incumbent branch. But the
Mhm.
other people who have just taken over these constituencies, is the 2 year mark where you have the new candidates and so on. They thought they're having at least 2 years or just about to campaign to get to know people. It's not
Yeah.
going to happen.
Just before we let you go, brother Bird, in terms of, in the interest of time, final question from me to you. I don't know if Josh have any more. uh I normally visit Antigua at least for the past two election cycles, just to witness what is happening on the ground in real time, so I can get a better grasp. So what are you
Yeah.
telling me now? It doesn't make sense to come to Antigua this time around. It will be the same old, same old.
Save the playing field. Save it.
David. Okay.
Listen, it's
Thanks
so
for the
bad.
advice.
What I say, we'll come and visit you guys.
Okay.
Wow.
We'll come and visit you guys.
All right. Thanks for the advice, bro.
Yes, but brother, based on the dim perspective that you have given for the opposition in Antigua, it would appear that there is an opportunity for independent candidates to surface, persons who oppose the ALP and
Yes.
would not be attracted to the United Progressive Party, would have had the opportunity to emerge as independent candidates. Do you see that happening? Do you see that over the next few days or few weeks, viable persons may present themselves as independent candidates? And if they do, what would be their chances at the polls?
Independents are not going to work in Antigua because even if you get elected, you can't do anything for the people in the constituency. And a telling example is Asset Michael. He won the last time around 2023 as the first independent candidate winning in Antigua. And he won his constituency, but he sent $6 million of his own money to attain being an independent in parliament.
Repeat that
And
again,
even
please.
him too, he
16,
spent $6 million in
6 million.
6 million EC dollars in St. Peter's. Loftus knows what I'm talking about. I think he visited up there and all when he
Yes,
came
yes,
over the last
yes,
time.
yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah, he spent a lot up there. He's been known to always spend a lot of money, but this time around, he filed out with the Labour Party or Gaston Brown and he ran as an independent and had to spend his own money. He was murdered in his house last year, November, right? But even towards the end, Mr. Michael was talking with Gaston Brown because even he could not maintain it. I don't, if he were alive, he would have ran in this election. I don't think financially he could keep up the high standard of gifts and so on and helping out people. I don't think he could have maintained it because he's getting no returns. When he did it in the past, he was always elected into a government and formed as a minister, and he's always able to get that money back somehow, but it's not there anymore. So to run as an independent is a waste of time in Antigua. I believe that the UPP, the only way that they can survive is to pull in independent minded people that they probably did not listen to before the state of electoral wipeout that they're going to get. They're going to need to pull in a lot of people that they did not really care to under what you call it again? The peripheries of political parties and so on, kind of on the outside, but are more activists and independent thinkers, and see if they could pull them in. Failing doing that, I do believe that the UPP will come to a demise, and that is why I'm saying if that is the situation, it's better they deliver the coup de grace as soon as possible. You know, like in those old Western movies when the horse breaks his leg and they try to put it out of his misery as soon as possible. That may be the best thing for these guys, and then we move on to whatever happens next: independence, activism, and a new political organization as the main opposition is very likely because I cannot see a party losing four general elections having the brand with the electorate that they are a winning team.
Yeah, very interesting.
You
You
guys
know,
need to be careful with your name. Y'all need to be careful. Y'all should call me before you.
let us pray that it is
Y'all,
local. It is
hey,
local.
make
It
sure
is
y'all
not.
call it the Dominican United Progressive Party, please. Because after next month, y'all might be in problems too.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Listen, man, I
Yeah.
am supporting of any third party. I am for third parties. I'm not for
Yeah.
independent. I am for third parties. Whatever I can do to assist your third party organization, I will do it.
Yeah.
All
We
these
appreciate
islands are
that.
so alike, and I've told Loftus in these islands that have had the EC dollar for over 50 years before I was born. What happens in Dominica's politics, especially with financing, is my concern. You can't say, oh, me not Dominican, so I can't. But your EC, me had the same dollar. If I go mess around with politics wise with the EC dollar, it's affecting me here. So it's
All right,
likewise. Antigua
Mr. Joseph,
politics is your concern.
Yeah, let me just interject for 1 minute to facilitate a caller here. Caller, good evening to you. The UPP's program you're on.
Yes, good evening.
Yes, good evening.
I
Good
retire, but
evening.
I come back in the ring just for now.
You come back
I
in.
just hope that all of us in Dominica, because Antigua, I'm in my middle 40s and 3 quarters of my life in Antigua. You understand? My 90% of my
Good.
family is in Antigua, and I know about Antigua politics. And I hope us Dominicans listening to Mr. Bird, especially the United Workers Party, with that division and segregation from Anthony Smith to the other 6, 7 that resign up to this week there. I hope they're listening. And a lot of people just get mad when you talk about, according to what Joshua would say, you need money to be in politics because politics has become a business. And people there with their mind small as a mustard seed, their brain, they doesn't understand that. But I just hope we in Dominica paying attention to the slowly demise of the United Progressive Party in Antigua because division is the modus operandi and people cannot have their differences. That is all I want to say. Finally, I hope we in Dominica, especially the United Workers Party, paying attention to that division because they can kiss the game goodbye anytime they put the house in order. Bye-bye.
All right, my brother. Thanks for your thoughts here. Brother Bud, did you hear the caller? Any comment or comments?
I agree with him. The opposition, especially Mr. Brown, has been in office since 2014, and you figure that they'll be aware of his style of governing this country, and people will say, okay, it's time for try another organization, something new. It is perfect opportunity for them to have been, if not taking government, to perform a lot better than the way they're going to perform in next month. The only people who think that they're going to win, they have some diehards in the UPP, right? And they go back to the one of their predecessors, the PLM, that was the main opposition in my grandfather's day. When the PLM won in 1971, they had 5 years. They lost in 1976, and they never attained office again. They had to ban with some other political parties, and it was only in 2004. So from 1976 to 2004, which is my father's period of time of service also. He won in 76 and he lost in 2004. You understand? 28 years before they're able to, in some form, the successor organization to take over. So you figure by now, Mr. Brown, technically you should have had 15 years as the government of Antigua and Barbuda. And he got such a good challenge the last time. And now the gates are open, it's just falling apart. And they did not unite. They did not see Mr. Pringle as leadership material. He had the power because there was a power vacuum and he got to it. But leadership wise, many of the people who were the stalwarts who got them into power in 2004 walked away. And what is surprising, they don't just walk away, and say they had enough of this. They walk over to the other side, the enemy. That is the eye opening. The eye opener. Yeah. I've never seen anything like it myself. In that, to me, it appears that you have to back a party in Antigua and Barbuda. Because even Sean, my cousin, he was barred into Labour, got so annoyed with Gaston Brown that he ran in Uncle Lester's former constituency against our supposed cousin Gaston's wife, Maria Bird Brown. Got so annoyed with that party because of Pringle being the leader that he went back with the Antigua Labour Party.
Wow.
So I personally don't understand it, how they have to go back to the Labour Party or have a party, but that's it.
Brother Bird, let me just finally, before Josh comes in, let me just thank you for pledging your support to work with us in Dominica, the United Progressive Party, and by extension, the other opposition forces in Dominica as to what you think can do to help bring back Dominica. I know you're an Antigua and Barbuda guy, but we are one Caribbean people, and so what affects Dominica for sure, indirectly or directly affects Antigua as well. And so thanks for that support. And we will sure be opening the gates a little wider for you so that you can have some kind of input in the future, especially where the political things are concerned in Dominic. Thank you. Josh, want to ask you a question, and then we have to bring it to a wrap in just a while.
Yeah. So
Okay then.
based on what the last caller would have said, that politics in the Caribbean has become transactional. We need money. We need big money, and big money wins election. For the benefit of our listeners, is there any legal framework regulating campaign finance in Antigua?
Yes, we have the Representation of the People's Act. We had a very and it has been what do you call it again? They have had amendments to it, which they have take which tailored for more campaign finances. They're not perfect. They're not perfect, but they're the start of something. There was a free and fair representation unit or something like that by a guy by the name of Rick James, who never voted, but he would go around to see that everything, he took it upon himself and his organization to see that everything was as fair as possible, and would report back to the people at a public meeting
Yeah,
after the elections.
I I met with
Mhm.
him before he died. We had a conversation before he passed.
I don't think there's anybody like him since. I know the organization is still around, but I don't know about the personalities if they're so committed as he was.
Mhm.
But he
Yeah.
was able to hold the politician in line to some extent with his efforts.
Mhm.
Um, I do believe throughout the British speaking Caribbean, in part of the OECS, that we need third party organization. It cannot be two-party dominating the political spectrum in these islands. And I will give you all a prediction. Next month, when the Labour Party wins 15 out of the 17 seats, or thereabouts, if not more, the Prime Minister will then get in on a stage publicly with the Attorney General Cutie Benjamin and tell the people of Antigua and Barbuda that this was a mandate for Antigua to become a republic and to become part of the CCJ as opposed to the Privy Council. That is going to happen this year, if what I predict is going to happen next month.
Yeah.
Yeah, and finally, earlier on you alluded to a possibility that one of the reasons why Gaston Brown has called maybe what you could deem as a snap election is because there could be external factors. Could it
Yes,
be that those external factors have something to do with the US and China and
that
even the
that is one of
CBI
them.
program?
That is one. Yes,
So,
correct. Sorry to cut you
maybe
off there,
Mr.
but in
Brown,
regards to
yes.
the visa restrictions, the visa restrictions is a big problem, and even that, you see what happened, the CIP in Antigua and Barbuda, the people knew. The Labour Party in the 2014 election, which Mr. Brown became the leader, the Prime Minister, their manifesto never mentioned about CIP or that they will continue CIP. They said that there would be um, economic residency, that if you had businesses in Antigua and Barbuda, you would have a stamp in your pass that you could live here because you had businesses here. Because it was it was not championed by the Labour Party. It is a situation where even my grandfather would not have supported that. Lester Bird in the beginning did not support it. They got to him, and towards the end there he switched. Right? We were always told by Papa Bird to lease the land, never to sell the land. But they went ahead and they got together the ALP and the UP. That's when political parties start to agree with one another, it's problems because they agreed to sell passports. Even the UPP have not been able to admit that they sell passports. What they say is that the period of time they're in office, the CIP in Antigua started 2013, they left office June 2014. They only sold 14 passports in that time. But I spoke to Mr. Harold Lovell just 2 months ago on a WhatsApp platform with a lot of other people where he's giving a synopsis of what is happening in Antigua. And I asked him, if you were not selling passports, then what he said they were about investment. They were about investment. So I asked him, were any of these investments in the ghettos, in rural West, Grays Farm, in Otters, in Villa, in the Point areas? He said, no, we didn't have any in those areas. I said, well, where did you have them? He said, well, we never had any. because we never got an investment part of the CIP established when we were in office. So the 14 parcel, or 100% of them, were by selling. They said they had a cash component and a investment component, and the UPP have always said we were going to do it differently. But all the passports that people became CIP citizens, they were just like the Labour Party and sold the passport. So even them, the hypocrisy is why I personally am not even getting out of my house to go and vote for Mr. Harold Lovell, because he's running in my area. I'm not even wasting my time to go there, get out
So
my
you will
bed
not
in
be
the morning
voting.
to go and boy, I didn't
So
even have my
you will
card. I
likely to
lost my
vote.
card in Barbados. Pardon me?
I said that it appears that you will not vote. And the voter
I lost.
turnout, based on what you said, the voter turnout may be low. That
I believe it will
election
be. I believe
enthusiasm
it will be low.
yes, I suspect that.
I lost my ID, my voter's ID in Barbados in 2019. 2023 election, I wasn't even in Antigua. And it was my son, my eldest son's birthday. I couldn't leave him to go even be a part of that. This election cycle, depending on when it's called, I might be in Antigua. I'm leaving Ireland Monday, this Monday coming for 2 weeks. So I may come back towards the end of it, or hopefully it will be over so we can just, I would rather it to be called sooner so we can just move on and try to get to whatever we can do to form a proper opposition as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Brother Bird, I want to thank you for the time. Thank you for the upfront, forthright information. It's always a privilege talking to you, my brother. Let's leave that communication
Likewise,
line
guys.
open. Yeah.
Yeah, thank
Likewise.
you. And on behalf of the United Progressive Party, Dominica.
Dominica's United Progressive. That's what I'm always gonna put that in you, when y'all put it in front of y'all, just for your own sake. Right? I don't want y'all to be tainted. I don't want y'all to be tainted by what is going to happen next month in
You
Antigua.
don't want us to suffer from the sins of our cousins. We appreciate that.
The
I want to
United
thank you
Progressive Party.
for engaging us here this evening. And on behalf of the UPP, Dominica UPP, we say thank you. And we're looking forward to work with you.
And I look forward to work with you too. So nice meeting you, sir. Take good care, and we'll talk soon.
Definitely.
Bye for now.
Have a good one. Yeah, good night.
Okay then, bye.
All right, Dominicans, those of you in the region as well and or further afield. You've just been listening to the brother, a lawyer by profession from Antigua and Barbuda, giving us his perspective as to the pending general elections in his country, Antigua and Barbuda. Always nice chatting with his brother, Brother Bearbird the Third. Let's take a little musical cool down now, Josh, and we'll get back to the talk in just a bit.
Yes.
A number of comments have been generated from that discussion, and we'll seek to respond to some of them.
Okay, very well.
Yeah. Also, folks, the list of the confirmation centers and the how do you call it?
Justices
of Peace, or the they have another name called it.
Notary Public.
The Notary Public.
And Commission of Oaths.
Right. We are compiling them, and by next week, hopefully, we will give you that list in full. So folks who are wanting that information, please just bear with us. Yes? The brother who called from Fonkoli last week, I tried reaching out to you, brother, earlier this week and was unsuccessful. And so I'll do try again sometime in the upcoming week. I always try to keep my commitment.
But none of them want to die. I don't want no peace.
Josh, let's deal with one of the more serious allegations here on the live feed from someone called James Cam. He says, from an observer perspective, the UPP in Dominica's sole objective is to win in the opposition and not the government. It is sad. Your take, Josh.
Well, I am not too sure on what basis that person would have made such a remark.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just repeat what he says here. From an observer's perspective.
Yep.
this UPP in Dominica's sole objective is to win the opposition. I cannot recall whenever we stated publicly that we were interested in forming the official opposition in Dominica. We have worked with the other opposition entities. Up to this evening, I was part of a meeting to discuss opposition affairs, to talk about how we can move forward. And if anything, Loftus Dura, we have been the leaders on the issue of collaboration. We have been the leaders in getting the other opposition entities to understand what is at stake and why we need to work as a team, why we need to work together. Persons meet me and they ask, do you have a candidate for Granby? Do you have a candidate for Salisbury? Do you have a candidate for St. Joseph? And my response, which is consistent to your response, is that our objective is not to put in a candidate in every constituency. Our objective is to work strategically and scientifically with the United Workers' Party, the Freedom Party, or any other opposition entity, including Munselwe, in getting this Dominican Labour Party off the backs of Dominicans. So that comment is unfair. It is baseless, it is unscientific, and all it does is to sow seeds of discord.
Yeah.
And Lofty, what is happening in Antigua reflects or manifests consequences of division. And that is one of the issues that we have had in opposition politics over the past years. A divided home cannot possibly be successful in a battle. And some of us have been out there trying to cure the maladies in the opposition in respect to the division, but we were not being heard. Hence the reason why we have UPP. Lofty, when we planted the seed of UPP and there were calls that we should not have the UPP in Dominica, we gave those critics an opportunity to deal with the division in certain parties. And we realized things were not getting better. If anything, it was getting worse. And today we are here. We are still not selfish. We are not here with the first objective to promote UPP. As a matter of fact, oftentimes we put down the name UPP and we talk about opposition. Lofty, you yourself would say in every public forum, opposition.
Now, Josh,
And your willingness to work with all of the other opposition entities.
Josh, sometimes I'm a very cool cucumber. But sometimes when I hear certain things, especially as it relates or pertains to yours truly, and I know it is not true, it irks me in the wrong way. And so sometimes I may come across as being a little rough, but that is part of my personality. I cannot and will not and will never stand for injustice. And no matter where that injustice shows up its head, yours truly will defend that cause. And when I hear these sentiments from James Camp and others, it irks me the wrong way, as I said, because these people have no clue, or if they have, then they're mischievous. If they have a clue as to the work, the very hard work that is being done in the opposition and amongst the opposition forces to make that thing that we all, well, the majority of the opposition people want in Dominica, there should be no room for this kind of divisive statements.
Right.
We have been at it. We are at it. Look, today you said you were at some function trying to put it together, make whatever it is we have been lamenting about a reality. And that is exactly what I said publicly in Warner. Some comments in the public domain should not be. You guys are just hampering the progress in moving forward. If you don't know what is happening, if you don't know what is afoot, ask a question than to just make baseless statements out there that is unfounded. It is wrong. And I am a Dominican, Josh. I was never born into a party. I am not a party man. I am a Dominican, a true one at that. And whatever is good for Dominica is certainly good for me. I am no divider. I am no political divider. And so a lot of the how you call it, the tags, the
smirks, the whatever it is that is being sent my way, your way, whoever way. These people should stop their nonsense. That is political nonsense. And this kind of gibberish, gutterish talk must stop. And it is high time these people put, as they say, water in their wine and try to be a mender, try to be a fixer, than to just be flirting words all over the place and you go on social media and you're just pushing stuff that you maybe just dream about. The reality on the ground is we have had a cancer in the Dominican Labour Party running this country, and the lives of him and others, myself as we're getting worse, and we are trying our very best to fix it. It is not because I'm not wearing a blue collar. I am not part of the resistance. It is not because I'm not wearing a green collar. Collars are minuscule in the scheme of things. We have to put this pettiness aside and move on.
Yeah, definitely.
We have been there for much too long, Josh, in those party modes. People put on their political glasses and everything is through a political party lens. No.
That has not worked.
You're supposed to be supporting a party. I'm supposed to be supporting a party. And we meet somewhere down the line and flesh out what is good, what is bad, what is ugly, and decide and chat away forward and move on. And I am saying it here tonight, Josh. I will not be contesting in no constituency where 3 or 4 political parties will contest. No. Right about now in Dominica, it is the Labour Party candidate, or let me reverse it. It is the coalition candidate versus the Dominican Labour Party. That's it.
Unless if there is a strategic reason to have 3 candidates or 4 candidates.
But
I totally agree with you, Lofty.
But I'm just saying, this thing's supposed to be much more clear-cut than that. We can't be running all over the place and just trying to derail the progress, the little progress that has been done so far. It cannot continue.
Well, and Lofty, we have to be honest with each other. I mean, we do not come in the public to speak about internal politics. But when we meet, we have to be honest with each other. We have to do reflections and introspections and to scientifically understand why is it that the opposition has lost 6 consecutive elections. Look at what is happening in Antigua. You heard Bud Jr. saying that after the beating he expects Antigua UPP to get, there is a possibility that may be the end of the UPP. It is possible. Parties die. Look at the great and mighty Dominican Freedom Party. A decision was taken to merge with the Dominican Labour Party in 2000. And since then, the Freedom Party, thank God to our brother Johnson Boston and others to keep the name alive. But they have had to go through many challenges. So parties can grow, they can regress, they can be promoted, they can be demoted. It all based on the behavior of the members of the party and the supporters of the party. And at this juncture, we should really put down our political colors.
Let's see if we can facilitate a call. Just stick the pin there. Caller, yes, good evening to you.
Boy, I had more fall back, even though I just want to stay away and just listen. Is the same thing I say, but Lofty, we are the opposite of the same. I can never be you, and you can never be me. My boy, you know the amount of things people say just because you have an opinion. Some people that own the other party, like there's the owners, especially the female side section of it. He's like, you can't be the main opposition and come under umbrella. Like you already talking about it's supposed to have equality and unity, but all you is the biggest arch nemesis of that. Lofty, you cannot have another opinion. Lofty, he's like, see what Timal say. Nobody do reach out to him. The PM reach out to him. Oh, they buy you. There is another. This why only don't try to help Timal or do something and like you cannot have another opinion. That is why I'm telling you, if election called tonight, Lofty, scary to win. What all you have to do, try to put all the party in thing, and sometimes even family segregating. It cannot have political unity in Dominica with that cancer we're talking about. It going on both ways because UWP is their own worst enemy. Dr. Fong, they don't get no support. Either a portion like Lennox, a portion like this. Where the stalwarts of the party, they're not grand for. They're looking for people like us and all they want to bring people home. you cannot catch flies with vinegar. Lofty just try to peddle your party and HELL with other parties because you will burst your blood vessel and nothing will happen. It can never have unity with them all rotten with heads. I'm glad you seeing it.
All right, caller.
WP is
Thank
your
you.
own worst enemy.
All right,
Bye-bye.
caller. Thank you very much. Thank you indeed for your comments here. At the end of the day, it's not a matter of bashing a party over another party, but you know the reality is reality. And Josh, I keep saying that we in the opposition, we have to watch our speech. We have to be much more circumspect in what we say. We have to be much more discreet. The power of the tongue, the biblical, the Bible that some of us believe in, it says it. You understand the power of that tongue, and some of us use our tongues in the wrong areas, the wrong times, for the wrong reason. We are trying to build something in Dominica and not divide, not break it apart,
not destroy.
It is not because Joshua Francis, I am not part of a color. I am not part of the resistance. And I'm telling you, Josh, if I wasn't strong, I would just say, you know something? Let me leave Dominicans in their story. And I have whatever, just go overseas and just chill and just...
Or just live your private life.
Yeah.
I meet Dominicans on a day-to-day basis, leaders, persons who have done very well.
But not tripping with it. When I meet these people and they say, Lofty boy, I had $5 before in my savings, now it is down to 50 cents.
Yes.
You know, what can we do? It is these people that keeps me going. And so that is my drive. That is what keeps me up at night, thinking of the struggling people in Dominica. We heard the account of Bear Bird. You heard what he said, what is unfolding in Antigua, whereby maybe Gaston Brown is going to do whatever he had to do at the end of the election cycle. We are on that road. We have been on that road for much too long, George. I want to wake up a morning, and I, Loftus Jr., want to wake up a morning, Josh, and Scarrett is no more. Whoever is there, Thompson Fontaine, Timal, whoever is there as Prime Minister, I need Scarrett to go.
Right.
Scarrett has been there for much too long, Josh. The man has plateaued. He can do no more. And he and his bunch. You understand? And to me, there will be a breath of fresh air in Dominica.
And there is hope.
There will be.
There is hope. And that is what we're trying to do. We're
and
trying to realize that
just
hope.
Too much back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Every day you get up is something like Triple K said in song. Thank you, Triple K.
But Lofty, we are rising above that. We are doing this because we believe in what we are doing. We have not lost hope. We have not lost confidence in Dominicans. We believe that Dominicans are capable of assessing their situations and making the right decision. I, Joshua Francis, continue to believe that the Dominican Labour Party can be defeated. But it takes hard work. It takes a united effort in the opposition team to make it happen. Lofty, you said it right. On a day-to-day basis, when you go on the ground, you hear the plight, you hear the cries, you feel the sufferings of the people. And though there are times you feel, why am I doing this? Dominicans generally, even at a time when the economy of Dominica is so bad, you're not hearing Dominicans agitating to remove the government. You call a protest, they do not show up. You call public meetings, they do not show up. It would appear they don't love themselves. But there are those who love themselves and they give you that energy, they give you that drive, they give you that encouragement, and they appreciate what you're doing. And I think one of the reasons why some leaders either bowed out of politics or not interested in politics because of people's ingratitude. You give your life away and some people will not commend you. Even as we're here, Lofty, you don't have to be here this evening. I don't have to be here. But we're here because we love Dominica. We believe Dominica should be a better place. And we believe that this Dominican Labour Party government has to go. We're doing it. We're doing what it takes to contribute, to add value to the removal of the Dominican Labour Party government. And instead, some people, call out Lofty. They may not want to support the UPP, but it's best if they stay quiet. But they find it necessary to plant seeds of discord. And somehow they believe that a blue or a green or a specific party will emerge. Politics is not happening by just miracles. It's not just praying. It's faith and works. You have to get onto the ground. You have to build relationships. with constituents. You have to build relationship with constituencies. You have to show people that you care about their lives. And clearly, Dominica being a small country, everybody knows everybody. People make fair judgments. If people think and feel that you do not care about them, they're not going to support you. You have to show people that you care about them, that you understand their situations. Of course, there are differences, but it comes down to about caring for people. And that's what we are dispensing in Dominica. And we're hoping that we will win at least 11 seats, because that's the formula. Win 11 seats.
And not just that, Josh, added to what you're saying, the malaise in which we are now, the predicament in which we are now.
Mm-hmm.
Persons know exactly why we are where we are now.
Mm-hmm.
It was this concussion by the Dominica Labour Party then merged with the Dominica Freedom Party of the day to remove a working government. So that happened then. These people is like as if, well, they're living under a stone when that happened. So what is the whole difficulty now in making it happen again? What is it? It happened already. We are where we are. We are suffering. We just have to reverse it and just like make it.
And it's going to happen. It's going to happen. We're going to make it happen. We are speaking it into existence. There will be a change of government.
Caller, yes, good evening to you.
Hello, good night, my brothers Lofty and also Mr. Joshua.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I guess all you know who is calling there, like Jermaine.
Yes, sir.
Right. As Joshua know, I was with them in the Concerned Citizen and also Mr. Lofty, and the Concerned Citizen finished because it has got no unification. Now, I work hard with you all. Yes, it's true. I'm glad you all formed all the UPP. But since you all trying to collide or collusion with
from a coalition
or with the UWP, I believe, well, or you will not make it. Or you might only get 1 or 2 seats. Or you might be in opposition, but not in the divided Workers' Party. Because here it is that the divided Workers' Party is...
All right, caller, I want to take you out on that note. Sorry for that, but we are not spending too much time on that divisive talk tonight, UWP versus this. You said your point, you made your point, you made your perspective. Thank you very, very much indeed. All right. Yes, Josh, let's continue here. We have like 15 more minutes to go.
Yes, we have to continue to be positive.
Yeah.
It is feasible. We can and we will win the next general elections. I personally have confidence that will happen. Of course, there's still a lot of work to be done. We have to identify constituencies where we believe it is most winnable. By the way, Lofty, I believe any constituency in Dominica can swing. We saw it in 2014 in Roseau South. Most people would have concluded that the Dominica Labour Party, led by the deputy leader of the Dominica Labour Party, then Mr. Ambrose George, would have won the constituency in the 2014 elections. We went out there and the constituency swung, whereby we won by over 250 votes, a seat where the Dominica Labour Party led by over 1,000 votes. It is possible in any constituency.
Yeah, it can. Caller, yes, good evening to you. Limited time, go right on.
Yes, good evening, Lofty.
Yes, good evening, sir.
And good evening, Josh.
Hi, good evening.
Well, I just want to tell you two gentlemen, as I have said already, I'm on board to take out that Labour Party there. I ready in the Roseau Valley. We're ready. It's time.
Yes.
Because in the Roseau Valley, all now I speaking from Loda. And as I speak, Josh, we claim to have a hydroelectricity power station in Loda, and just as geothermal in Loda, but all now it's like 2 hours or more since the village is in total blackness. And Kerrit and them on radio boasting about geothermal. And you want to tell me the people of Loda will still want to take their hands and go and vote for that bullshit?
All right,
Yeah,
caller.
watch your
do.
language.
All right, caller.
I
Thank
do
you very
think so.
much. You are ready to remove the cancer, and that is a good and positive attitude. Thank you for that. Yes. Folks, if you are the call, you got to call now. We have like 15, 13 minutes to go before we bring it to a wrap tonight. But let us try to keep the energy positive as possible in the interest of our country, Dominica. All right? Yes, Josh.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Lofty, we came here with the intentions to speak health, but with the announcements that
We are speaking about some healthy political
right,
talk
right.
tonight. So
Yeah. And there are times we really have to discuss the raw politics because we need to understand what we are doing. And we want to tell our listeners that there is hope. We believe that we are going to win the next general elections. To form the government, we need 11 constituencies. And the opposition can win and will win at least 11 constituencies. It's going to happen.
fair enough. Caller, yes, you're next. Go right on.
Yeah. Good night to your pa.
Yes, good evening.
Okay. Um, when you talk about the opposition, what when you all going to meet and
Caller, something is wrong with your phone. Try rectifying it and call us back. Sorry about that. Caller, yes, you're on. Good evening.
Well, I'm putting it to you all. The UPP can.
All right, my brother, please, 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 please. This is a paid program. We are not on that divisive trend tonight. So please, please, brother Jumin, just keep it cool tonight. All right. Thank you very much, my brother. I hope you respect that. Caller, yes, good evening.
okay, me again. I hope you hear me much clearer.
Clara, yes.
Okay. What I want to know is when you on and all the opposition going to put together and keep a meeting and come together. We are there and we're ready for you all.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, my brother, for that positiveness. Thank you very much in moving forward. Caller, yes, you're next. Good evening.
Yes, good night. It's a wonderful program, Lost you all have. The reason why I call is because of the interest of how you are talking to Dominicans about the election. It is not about UWP, either Freedom or whoever it is. It's about Dominicans come together, forget party, and let us vote this government out.
Yes.
Once we can continue to do that, I believe I was in Dominica not too long, and I've been talking to a lot of people, and I believe we can get a landslide victory if we continue. Stop bashing parties and let us go like how you all doing.
Yeah,
we
thank
want
you.
to take out the government. We're interested in taking out the government. Let us stop talk about UWP, like how these two young men start to talk about, and let us have a positive mind.
Yes.
And we can do the work. That is what I'm trying to do. Continue, man. God bless you all.
All right.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, yes, we have to be positive. It's about Dominica. Dominica comes first. A political party really serves as a platform to disseminate information, to share ideologies, to share visions. But this is not about UPP, UWP, or DFP first. It's about Dominica first. And it's about working together, forging a team that will make it happen. I believe in it. I believe that we will win the next general elections. Of course, the Prime Minister has the legal authority to advise the president of Dominica to dissolve the House of Parliament and to have an election. God forbid that he calls the election and we have to go to the polls under the old list. We are hoping that we do not have an election until we sanitize the voters list. For many years now, we have been asking for the sanitization of the electors list, and we are now in process of doing so. We hope that this process will be completed. Voters will have their voters ID, voters ID card, and will be able to go to vote. Lofty, we see the time is winding up. We cannot leave this program without reminding our listeners to go out and confirm to vote. Find out where your confirmation center is in your respective communities and go out to vote. We cannot change the government if you do not go out to vote. For you to be able to go out to vote, your name must be on the electors list. So if you are unregistered to vote, please go out and register to vote. If you are registered to vote, go out and confirm to vote, because we want to make sure that when that day arrives, that you will be positioned to contribute towards that change. And it is going to happen.
And that is the kind of work, Josh, we want to now infuse Dominicans now. Especially, I'm saying now, the talkers to do.
Right.
Find out whether your neighbor is confirmed. Find out whether her child is registered. Find out whether your brother living under the same roof, your sister, your mother, whether they are in line, so that when that time comes around, you guys will not be caught off guard. That is the work. Don't leave it for Josh. Don't leave it for whoever. You have a stake in the matter, and that is what I am employing now Dominicans on the whole to do. Josh, we have some comments on the live feed.
Yes.
Let's take some of them here before we shut it down tonight. It says here from Malina. No, not Malina. Sorry, I'm pronouncing this lady's name wrong. Malana Melvington, WM. She says here, I'm not convinced the opposition has the same objectives. However, I do support that collectively the opposition should unite, identify best candidates per constituency to unseat the DLP representatives. I also believe it's fair to let the public know who the candidates of choice so that the campaign can begin. Elections were won on the ground and can still be, wait, let me take that. Elections were won on the ground and can still be won on the ground. That line froze me off a bit, my friend, but let me continue here. I need to feel the momentum. We also need to forget who we have left. We also need to forget who have left, the UWP. Let's work with who wants to continue in public office and forget who has alternate motives. And some persons are basically agreeing with this lady's comment. Your comment, basically.
Yeah, well, is that simple, Lofty? Politics and numbers game. To form the government, we need 11 constituencies. So right now we are looking at Dominica, we're looking at the political map, and we are identifying constituencies where our chances of success are best, not disregarding the fact that any constituency can swing. Granby can swing, Portsmouth can swing. Yes, I know some of the listeners may be thinking that's impossible. No, it is not impossible. One day is like 1,000 days in politics. Things can change dramatically. We do not know for sure how tomorrow will turn out. Something may happen where Dominicans are just tired, fed up, and desperately need a change. And as we speak, the majority of Dominicans want a change. People are tired with this government. The Prime Minister himself is fatigued. The little vision that he had as a Prime Minister, it is plateaued according to you. He has gotten to the apex of his performance, and he's now suffering diminishing returns. And any leader that is on a curve of diminishing returns must be removed, because he will not be serving the best interests of the nation. Dominicans are looking for an alternative, and that is what we have presented. That is what we're presenting. And I do agree with that comment that we have to come together, identify caretakers and candidates in the respective constituencies so people will know who they are looking forward to support, who they're going to support on polling day. We cannot wait for last minute.
True.
We cannot be caught with our pants down. It's not going to happen this time around. We have to prepare ourselves. In the business of politics, every day we have to get closer and inch closer to the finish line.
You have to be in ready mode.
We have to be in ready mode, and that's where we are, and that's what the language that we are speaking. And Lofty, we understand the frustration of some people. Some people are calling
quarter century of frustration.
Right. Yeah. There are a lot of people frustrated out there.
Yeah.
They're frustrated not only at the government, but also opposition leaders, because they feel like they have given their lives, they have given their finances, their time, their energies, their talents to the opposition. And yet, instead of getting closer to the finish line, they felt like they were moving back. Because love to think about it. If you have been supporting a political party for the last 30 years, and your party does not even have a seat in parliament, that is discouraging.
Josh, let me give you a fact.
Yeah.
Do you know the amount of people? And I'll be very blunt. Some people may not like to hear me say that, but I'm going to say it anyway in the interest of the discussion we're having tonight. Do you know the amount of people that I have had to help along the way to continue supporting UWP as a party? Lofty, I give up. I can't make it again.
Yeah.
I give my little 5 cents, my 10 cents, my bigs, my accra, my time, my coming to meetings, my protest, my and and I keep saying, Mom, just hold on there. We are closer to where we want to be than where we were back then. So hang in there, keep focused, keep hope alive. Just hang in there for one more day. You never know. And that is the challenge on the ground. Some people have, as you said, they basically have given up.
Yeah. they're
There's
tired.
very little energy for that thing to continue. And we are seeing those returns on the ground. And you cannot blame these people. But it is people now who are much more focused than these people, politically speaking, to sort of stem the tide, stand in the gap, be that comforter, be that guide, be that hope, be that beacon, be that, so that to just keep the drive going. And it has been on and on and on. That is the reality.
Yeah.
That it has been the
Yeah,
reality.
Lofty, that is natural. It is natural. If you're in the race and you keep being left behind and more so you're limping, at some point you're going to get frustrated and you will want to drop out of the race. But I want to say to our listeners, now it's not the time to drop out. Now is the time to be energized. We're going to make this happen.
James,
We are going to make this happen, Lofty. We are doing the work. We are the leaders on the ground. We are meeting with the people. We are listening to their concerns. We're explaining to them that we do not have government resources and therefore we cannot do big projects like repairing homes. But wherever we can share a meal, wherever we can share $1, wherever we can facilitate somebody to move from point A to point B, we have been doing it and will continue to do it. And for those who are resourceful, you have an opportunity to add value to the movement, whether you can add financial resources, spiritual resources, or otherwise. Reach out. You can call me, you can call Lofty. The United Progressive Party is doing the work. We are on the ground. We have been talking to our people. We are listening to the plights and sufferings of the people. We are listening to the suggestions that people are giving as to how we're going to make this happen. We are going to make it happen. Dominicans generally, they are seeing what's happening. They're feeling what's happening in Dominica. With all the nice houses we have a very good housing stock generally. Dominicans love nice houses. We build big houses. We have been driving cars, though they are not the most up-to-date and modern cars. But we have those privileges. But at the end of the day, Lofty, we continue to be cash-strapped. People are income poor. More and more Dominicans are finding it difficult to save. More and more Dominicans are finding it difficult to travel. More and more Dominicans are working poor. It's from their salary, from their pockets, straight to the bank. They do not have excess. They cannot enjoy the life of luxury. In the past, in the green gold era, farmers were able to take their families and go to St. Martin for the weekend. They were able to go to St. Lucia for a weekend. They were able to pay for a vehicle cash. They were able to be independent and walk with their heads high. Now, all of a sudden, people are financially crippled. They think that it's okay to chase a politician. We are saying that is not okay. Our ancestors preserved Dominica on hard work, on independence, on resilience, and on integrity. And that is what we want to bring back into Dominica. We understand that we have a bunch of persons in government parading as caretakers of the people. They are not really caretakers of the people, they are caretakers of themselves. And I don't know what it takes the Dominicans, for those who have not seen the light, to see the light. After all, when you have a prime minister digging and taking over $60,000 from the treasury of the government to live in a luxurious a place where it's alleged that is his own, he has somebody fronting for him or his best friend, that alone should tell you something is not right. It cannot be right. And we are saying we're bringing the solutions. We understand that money is power. We understand that we have to create a Dominica where opportunities can be created. After all, Lofty, you heard the Prime Minister. We didn't get a chance to speak about the last press conference of the Prime Minister, but I want to highlight something there. The Prime Minister says that he wants to take all NEP workers who have served for at least 5 years in NEP to put them in the public service. So in other words, the Prime Minister wants to grow the government. He wants to expand the public service. Any leader in this era who wants to grow his government has a problem. We have understood in entrepreneurship, in business, in finance, that you want to grow the private sector. You want to make people independent. You want to create an enabling environment for small business to grow, for new businesses to enter the market, for jobs to be created, to make Dominica more attractive so our young talents who keep leaving will want to stay, and for those who left to go and study will want to come back. We have to take those things into consideration. Already the birth rate in Dominica is negative. More people are dying annually than people being born. We need a leader who understands those things. We need a leader who can bring solutions, not a leader to divide the nation, to make people dependent, to make people financially crippled, to stagnate Dominica, to destroy the environment. We need a leader who has love for environment, love for people, who has a vision, who can really take Dominica to the next level. And that is what the opposition is bringing to the table. Of course, tonight, Lofty, we did not have the time frame to go through our vision, but we want to say to our listeners, we are working hard. We need your support. This is not about me or Lofty or just the UPP or DFP or UWP. This is about a group of us who have decided we had enough of this government. We're going to do the work, but we cannot get it done on our own. We need the support. Sure. So if you want to become a member of UPP, you can go online, www.uppdominica.com. That is www.uppdominica.com. You can see membership forms there. If you want to make a contribution, if you want to sponsor this program, be at liberty to call, email, reach out. And not just UPP, any opposition entity that's out there doing the work, I am saying give the support, whether it's Moonselway. True. Any opposition entity that is adding value to the movement, let us support them.
All right, Josh, thank you very much. Let's do this last number for sure, and then we'll be out in just a bit. That's the song, folks, we want to leave with you tonight. Don't give up. The man Anthony B. Let's leave it on a high note, huh?
I'm not giving up. Today I'll never give up before. It's not in my blood. It's not in my blood. When the time I reach the crossroads, still I never give up before. It's not in my blood.
Folks, we can't take any more calls at this time. Sorry about that, huh? It's cooling down time. It's winding down time at this time. But thanks for your eyes and ears each and every time. Thanks for your suggestions. Thanks for your questions. You can't be in this political thing and be thin-skinned, huh? You have to be able to learn to take the blows and the fire. But you also got to push back as well, huh? So, Brother Cam and others, good evening to you folks. We are all Dominicans together and wants the best for this country. I would think so.
I'm not giving up. Today I'll never give up before. It's not in my blood.
I know after 25 years, quarter of a century of this, yes, many of you have lost hope and have given up that hope, huh?
Still I never give up before. It's not in my blood. It's not in my blood. Yeah, every day the wicked them get up and run up them dirty mouth. Think me at the
yes, Viva Mamu Alvin Thomas, you and the folks on the live feed generating the discussion as well.
Coming not in a glass house.
Thank you very much, my brothers and sisters right there. Josh, but it's that time. We have to go. We have to leave at least till another time.
Until another time, the journey continues. We continue to do the work. And Lofty, I see the program was just heating up. The fire just started burning.
Well, we
passed. Calls are coming in.
Yeah, we passed the usual mark we have had tonight. I guess brother from Antigua sort of, spurred that on, but yeah.
Yes, because we were supposed to have examined the health situation in Dominica. We came here well prepared. We were prepared to provide data on where we are as far as non-communicable disease, obesity, etc., and how we could tackle that issue. We were prepared to share our vision as a party as to how we can tackle and challenge the health concerns in Dominica. But of course, we dealt with raw politics. We had a brother from Antigua who gave us a synopsis as to what's happening on the ground in Antigua in respect to the declaration that elections will be held in Antigua in the next few weeks. And of course, We had some callers, who made the program a little bit fiery. And I'm glad that we were able to clarify that the UPP is not about promoting UPP at the expense of any other opposition force. This is a family together. It's about we're coming together with our different ideologies, and we have a right to develop our own respective parties. But we are political surgeons who are in the theater room to remove the political cancer that has been on the back of Dominicans for too long. We cannot and ought not to take another 5 years of this government that is self-centered, that is working in self-interest and not in the best interest of ordinary Dominicans. So, Lofty, on that note, I want to say to our listeners that we love them. We thank them for staying with us after all this Saturday evening. They could be out there looking at a movie. Thank you to all of you, Alvin Thomas, Viva Mamo, James Calm, and every other listener on the social media platform, and to our listeners here in Dominica, Lofty. There are people sipping their cocoa tea and
on the good old
their
radio.
bush tea. Yes, in Jodel and Loubier, Granby, Laplin, wherever you are. We want to say thank you and let us keep going. Let us do the work. Let us have a renewed energy in getting this Dominican Labour Party out. So please, on Monday, if you have not confirmed to vote, make it a priority. Put it on your calendar next week, whether it's Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Go out there, get confirmed. Identify the children in your family who are 18 or about to turn 18 when that time comes. Take them to register to vote. Let us make that happen. We are going to make it happen, Lofty.
True.
Still I never give up before. It's not in my
All right, folks, that is it.
It's not in my blood.
Again, thanks to the brother from Antigua and Barbuda,
Keep them get up and run up them dirty pounds.
Brother Bird.
The kind of youth that gets me out. Coming no business where them a talk about me no.
Folks, we can't take any more calls at this time. We do apologize. But that is the program for tonight, the 28th of March 2026. Till next Saturday, if the good Lord above is willing. All of you on the live feed, good evening to you. Thanks for making the program what it was tonight.
No day I've never give up before. It's not in my blood. It's not in my blood.
Josh, I love that term you used tonight, yeah? Political surgeons. Trust me. That sums it up very well. Political surgeons in the opposition forces. Yeah. Any wrong chord you cut politically, that's it.
Yes.
All right. Yes, I think that's the phrase to end the program on, political surgeons. Because trust me, you see, those who are in the kitchen feels the heat.
It's not in my blood.
All right, Dominicans, thank you very much for your eyes and ears each and every time. Those of you in the region and or further afield, a blessed night to you guys. We love you.
Yes.
Please don't give up.
We have had a government that has been.
Are you ready? Are you ready to talk about how we can help the vulnerable members of society, our children, the elderly, and differently able? Are you interested in small business, education,